Hello everybody, Danny or Maccam here, and today, what are we going to talk about here in the NBA talk stuff? Well, a handful of things. Let's start off with actually when I'm recording, which is here tonight, March the 7th. Tonight, the Blazers faced off against the Thunder yet again in OKC, and it turns out that the Blazers narrowly pulled out a clutch win, 126-121 over the OKC Thunder. Turns out that apparently, though Russell Westbrook had a career night in terms of points, he ended up getting 58 points, 3 boards, and 9 assists. But despite his 58 points, he could not end up pulling off the win for his team. And apparently it was because of none other than the man himself, the Bosnian beast, Jusuf Nurkic, who apparently he had really a lot of clutch plays there in the end, on both ends of the floor at the end of the game. He had two quick buckets. One of them was actually apparently playing bully ball against Russell Westbrook, which was awesome that he found that mismatch. Kind of find it strange that Russell didn't get or receive any help defense at all, but then again, Russell has the ego to match almost nobody out there, so it would probably make sense that you want to go one-on-one, but he ended up getting knocked off balance because of Jusuf's sheer size and strength and weight, and that opened up a wide-open basket for Jusuf, so he got one of those two baskets, clutch baskets he got at that point. And he also made some clutch defensive plays, of course, on the other end, and got some boards fought away from some people. So the Blazers apparently just barely pulled it out, and it was with none other than Jusuf Nurkic. And apparently that was the defining basket that clinched the win for Rip City. So, man, congrats on him and congrats on the Blazers. Talk about an instant impact player in Jusuf Nurkic. I already talked about that in my last video, so obviously I'll try to avoid that as best I can, but I'm finding it very hard not to just keep raving about him. Hopefully he doesn't end up like, say, Big Country Bryant because of his excess weight, low conditioning levels. That would be really bad. Alright, so moving on to the next thing, what we're going to talk about is Mark Cuban's comments on Russell Westbrook not being MVP or a true star level player. And, you know, just about anybody would automatically think of...
He's an idiot.
Mark Cuban has pretty much a target on Russell Westbrook. Can't necessarily blame him if it's for the reasons that I'll get into a little bit later here. Yeah, so he reiterated that, and everybody thinks of that moment where Kevin Durant said...
He's an idiot.
And if you think about it statistically and analytically, then maybe, you know, on paper, then yeah, he looks like an ultimate NBA, like, history-making star. Literally history-making. Oscar Robertson levels, basically, with that triple-double season he had. My thoughts on that, when I think about it, is that the only way I could ever think about it in any way where I could actually think that Russell Westbrook isn't an MVP or star-level athlete or player in the NBA is, let alone MVP level, is because of his ego, and therefore specifically his immaturity levels, because he's extremely immature. He may be the most immature player in the entire league, and one of the most immature in the entire history of the league. And part of his immaturity is definitely that ego. He has arguably the biggest ego in the entire league. It's been obvious, and it only gets inflated each season, especially this season since he's having a historical, you know, potential league record season. His ego has only been further inflated, especially considering he's not getting it padded and you know, fed by the front office of OKC. He should learn to be appreciative for the fact that they did make a trade and got Taj Gibson, which makes them a hell of a lot better team than they already were this season. But that's the only reason why I could see that you could consider him not an MVP or star-level athlete. So if that's what you're thinking, Mark Cuban, then you get it, girl. But otherwise, I don't see it. So, moving on to the next thing, Andrew Bogut, quite possibly the most brittle NBA player and NBA center in league history in terms of one that actually consistently gets signed by teams every season. Go figure. Greg Oden, I see who you're trying to emulate now. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. The reason why I want to talk about it is simply because of the fact I could not help but laugh. Just with sheer amusement and just like, oh, of course that happens. It couldn't have been more predictable that of all people, Andrew Bogut in his premier game wouldn't even last a frickin' minute. Only 58 seconds to play. And he'd get a severe injury from something so minor. Because that's so Andrew Bogut. And I didn't even realize I was predicting that, but apparently somewhere in the back of my head was being super snide-ass and like, nope, he's going to do something nasty, you know, severe to himself, probably really early in the first game he plays. Lo and behold, 58 seconds into the game, and it blows my mind. I am so freaking, like, tortured by his injury, because he actually fractured his tibia. He fractured his lower leg. He fractured a big, dense bone in the stupidest, most illogical manner to actually get any bone fractured, even a finger. How in the heck, like, if you can look at that at every angle, and you know, you hear the commentators like, oh yeah, that's nasty. It's like, no, it's not. That's everyday contact in the NBA. You experience that incessantly. And it's so gentle. It's like, in comparison to a lot of other contact you get with the legs, it was like a feather graced his kneecap. How do you fracture a bone, especially a big dense bone like the tibia, on a play like that? It made no sense. How do you do that? Can't figure that one out. It just doesn't make any logical sense. He defied all logic with that injury. But at the same time, it's comedic as much as it's torturous to me. And it's only torturous to me not because it's a severe injury and that happened. I could care less, personally, but it's just the fact that it boggles me so much, because how in the heck on that play can you fracture a frickin' bone? I cannot see you breaking a frickin' bone or tearing anything on that play. Just to prove how much more, you know, how much Andrew Bogut is truly brittle. He's so fragile. He's more fragile than a virgin's puberty or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Oh my god. Tell you what, guys, it's getting crazy. This end of this season is probably the craziest I've ever personally noticed or experienced. It's ridiculous the things that are going on. Whether it's like an injury virus, or if you want to call it that, you know, whatever else. It's weird. I mean, actually, Kawhi Leonard, the moment pretty much the game ended, he got a clutch three, which immediately there on the other end he sprinted down, then blocked the James Harden layup to polish the game off of the Spurs to win it. The league immediately just came up to him like, you have to take this drug test now. That pretty much just about everybody is making them laugh, but like, really, you seriously think that Kawhi Leonard cannot possibly play at the levels he's been playing without steroids or something? But literally, it was immediately after the game. From everything I'm seeing and everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing, from no matter what place it's from, big or small, it's that it was pretty much instantly after that game had ended. They're like, here's a cup, you gotta go pee in it and give it to us because you're on drugs. You know, it's like, what? I can't. Why don't they do that to Russell Westbrook, for God's sake? He's always getting angry, he's always fiery, he's always pissed about everything, he always whines and complains about everything. He has the world's biggest ego. He runs inhumanly quick. He's putting up inhuman numbers, for God's sake. Like, that would be an obvious choice. Like, if you were to say, pick on somebody's game and say, nope, nobody can do that, then you'd have to go for Russell Westbrook. I mean, come on. Like most people, I'm confident he's not taking any drugs. They're not going to find anything. And it's probably going to drive him more nuts. But it's just one of the things that's making this end of season so incredibly crazy. Without further ado, I guess that's it for this video. So, yeah!